figure out how to call me. Hide the sound. I got a bit carried away. That's the wrong song. Anyhow, we're going to be giving BANiT a cog. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to do today. Monday has to learn more songs. No, I don't. That's just simply not true. I don't actually have to. That's the beauty of free will. I can do whatever I want. And what I want to do is I want to give BANiT a cog. You make it more songs. Exactly. Your cog? Well, it's not gonna be my cog. I'm gonna make a new cog. Hold on, let me show you BANiT's cog. There, this is the first cog. Apparently there is a workflow that's recommended in... There's a workflow that's recommended in PyCord, which is you're supposed to make things with cogs. I wasn't aware of that. And they do look very convenient as a workflow, so that's what we're going to attempt to do. And first one we're gonna call, which is gonna be admin, I feel like. I really feel like admin would be a reasonable start. So admin being stuff that only admins can do. What's a cog? I'm so glad you asked. Well, a cog. Well, here's the thing. Have you been keeping up with my repository on GitHub for learning Python? Because a cog allows you to create a class which basically contains all the stuff. It's basically like a module. So imagine that you have your Discord bot separated into different functionalities. It's honestly really difficult to explain why this is useful, but basically the standard way to divide things in programming languages is by types. So you divide things by types. So you have like one thing that's just functions, another thing which are your constants, then you have your like variables, your data, etc. The nice thing here is that in this workflow, instead you separate it into cogs. And the reason why you separate them into cogs is the cogs are by theme. So each cog contains their own functions, their own callbacks, their own variables, their own everything. And then it's really difficult to explain why this is convenient. But it's a really nice workflow. I've never seen this kind of workflow, but I like it. Hi, the Diamond. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna be BANiTing. We're gonna give him some cogs. And this is what I copied from... I turned off my PC from yesterday when I was working on this, which means I need to open it up. PyCord cogs. I just copied this from... I'm not certain if it was the guide. This one, right? Yeah, so the guide. However, PyCord /enable /commands only for admin, because I don't know if there's a proper way to do it. Ideally, the easiest way to do it would be, well, the simplest way to do it would just be to have the context. Context message author ID, for example, is equal to whatever, or author roles, like admin role in roles. Those are the two options, but they both feel kind of iffy because they allow you to already execute the command and only then check if they have privileges, which is yucky. That's not a great way to do things. You don't want, for example, you're collecting. Or to be fair, I may be just overthinking it extremely, but when you're connecting to a server using SSH, then it's not that you first connect using SSH and then the server checks if you have permission. It first checks if you have permission and only then allows you to connect or not connect. So that approach feels a bit off. Hold on, let me just. Play some hacking music on myself. I'm also drinking some delicious vanilla coffee in the background. Check has permissions. Ha. That's already perfect. Yeah, but that's just a decorate. Well. Okay, so there is no way to do it exactly how I want to do it, but this should be fine. Okay, so this should allow us to, let me just make sure that nothing silly is happening. We don't need this cog listener. So bot add cog greetings bot, that's good. Yes, and then in BANiT, I cleaned up BANiT. BANiT had, well, not cleaned up, I basically lobotomized BANiT. BANiT had 800 lines of code. It was very dirty. But I'm cleaning them up, which is why we're doing this. And eventually we're going to remove all of this as well. That's also gonna go. This is also gonna go, actually. This already is going to go, because that's not what we want. This print, I'm nostalgic about this one, so I might just leave it there. And then, what do we need? Well, I think just import admin. Oh, wait, cogs.admin. Ouch. Right. App commands is not defined. Well, yep, that makes sense. Right, because we need to specify what we're doing. That makes sense. Discord / commands. So, what Discord checks past permissions? Would that work? No. I feel like to. Damn it, I actually need to read. Unbearable. You did it this way. That's curious. I suppose it is better than to just do / commands. At least I prefer it. How is everyone doing, by the way? Right away. Okay, so let's first we can remove the / permission. I don't want to remove this because it's really clean, but I need to make this a bit more readable for myself. Like this command, for example, we don't need. / command also don't need it this way. This one we copy though. Because then user command we also don't want, because we would want them to be with / command groups. Trying to understand Klein Gordon. Good for you. What are you understanding it for? Pretty good actually, especially compared to last days. I'm really glad to hear that figure. I really am glad to hear that. Unless you're admin. And then so admin, I'm gonna have database. To be fair, can I make a subgroup of a subgroup? We are just entering shocking grounds. Then Ren told me I can't use it for electron chip confirm. I realize I'm clueless. Huh? Why were you trying to use Klein-Gordon for electrons? I don't know if this decorator will work. I really hope it will. Let's try it. If we run it now, no, it doesn't, but for a reasonable reason, and that is this. Shucks. I feel light to in the sea. This is an operator. I mean, the decorator. Operator. It's a decorator. I've been doing a bit too much physics and maths. Ah. Ow. Anyhow. Or maybe slash command group actually. Last year I used them for electrons in uni and I didn't get a grade I'm proud of, and those two might correlate. How did you use Klein-Gordon for electrons? What? How? That's what I'm asking you, how, because that's kind of like if someone said that they've... My god, I don't even have a good analogy for this. Kind of like saying that someone used the Harry-Ball theorem for photons. Wait, this is guide. What am I doing? I'm not looking for a guide. I wasn't thinking. I don't need a guide, I need documentation. Well, that's good to know. That's a very convenient decorator to have in mind. Discord default permissions administrator equals true. Oh, yes, I did mean, how did I misspell it? Default. There, it lives, it breathes. Slash. I need a test hamster. Never mind, I don't need a test hamster, it didn't even work. It is called by Piper set up the cog. I think you're lying. Is it because I need this? Well, it was all capitals. I mean, it was in capitals, so let's try this. I am lied to and deceived. It didn't work. Great! May I ask why? Oh, it's load extensions. You goddamn idiot. Right. Where's the bot created, by the way? I'm assuming it's before bot run. So I would assume it's right here. Cogs admin, lowercase? Let me see. Did it work? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You don't have access to that. I can't tell if it's working or not. I don't think it is. This is really nice. I really like this. admin. Right, load extension. The SQL alchemy at least appears to be alive. The problem is that the admin commands don't show. It could either mean that I've set them up incorrectly. Let's see. The cogwheels. I mean, I agree, cogs are great. I'm pretty certain Dan Ball made a song about this, about how cogs are great, but I do enjoy them a lot. I almost died for no reason. What are cogs? They are a very specific kind of workflow in PyCord. They're a way to basically organize your code. If they worked, that is, which they don't seem to be doing. Sounded like you were choking on cogs for a bit. No, I was drinking coffee. Horrendous bit. I want my cog. Where is my cog? This cog is for DM only commands. Klein Gordon with well, that's pretty. That's pretty different. Yeah, no, this one sounds like it would be a lot more relevant to electrons, I will say. Considering, for everyone who isn't in the know, by the way, this is what Klein Gordon is. Relativistic wave equation. This one seems a lot more relevant, I will not lie. No, bootloader extension. You load the cog. You load the cog and you load the cog before running the bot, which is correct. That is what we're doing. We're loading the cog. Am I crazy? Do I need to specify the commands? I might. Bot. Commands. Figure. What should we use as a command symbol for BANiT? Hi there, Black Thunder. How you doing?
Oh, you know.
Genuinely, before you even said it, in my head, I got the exact soundbite of "oh, you know."
Good. I'm predictable.
Command symbol. Yeah, we need some kind of symbol for a command, like, you know, slash, backslash, exclamation point, dollar sign. Can I just use the letter M? Because that would be pretty funny. Wait! Oh, never mind. Hold on. I think I can do something incredible. Oh, please tell me that's doable. This is a string. Can I do BANiT? Please tell me. I actually don't know if I can. I don't know if that worked. I don't think that worked. When mentioned or BANiT. It feels like it's just not working at all. It's not loading the cog. BANiT. BANiT. Admin? No. This is really tricky. When cogs take place, can I use anything outside of a cog? Just in case I'm not going to. Just in case I'm going to remove all of this. So we're going to just do as follows. There we go. BANiT. No, I don't think it worked. Bye, son. Bye. Have a good one. If it's any consolation, you're not missing on much. I'm just doing BANiT stuff. In a DM. Oh, you are. No, in a guild as well. Never mind. I am baffled again. This is really good. This is really important, in fact. That I do like. Because this can tell me if a command at least went wrong. BANiT. 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 I feel like a madman in an insane asylum. Did Buff join in? I genuinely, I kid you not. There is just... No, okay, I see. For a second I thought Buff joined in and I just couldn't see him. You said baffled. Yeah. I could just try. Because we do have a listener. We can have a cog listener. So we could have on message. Instead of printing, because goodness gracious, that would be a horrendous idea. Let's do print message. I think message is correct. I might be wrong. Well.
So, what's a cog?
That works. It's a way to workflow in Python. So basically, Well, I've seen it only with PyCord, but basically it allows you to organize things really conveniently. If it worked, it isn't working right now. Well, I mean, it kind of appears to be working. It halfway worked, which is progress.
You mean Congress?
It is progress, yes. Congratulations. I've already exhausted my will to do puns about cogs with Quasar. He introduced me to this, so. It's congruent. What is. I just.
What?
There is a second server just for the purpose of testing out BANiT. And I've just noticed the nicknames of people there. You wanna join in on the lack of fun?
That sounds great. I'd love to see the lack of fun.
There is literally nothing there.
That's fascinating.
See?
You're so right. There is nothing
There is
happening.
literally nothing there.
Get me a server with nothing.
Nothing?
A set?
Today, I got to explain to someone physics because they really wanted to get into physics. And
Oh boy.
I just, first of all, I really enjoy it when people want to learn physics or mathematics because then I get to rant on topics which I normally don't get to rant on because no one is interested. But second of all, I went on a rant, starting from sets, going all the way up to vector spaces, and it was very enjoyable. They've been a really keen listener, and they've been really smart throughout, so that's nice.
Probably the most fun Make It's had without taking off his shirt.
You summoned the cat.
No, he was here first.
Oh, I see. She. I just noticed, Katsi, what your nickname is on the test server. You talked to people. Person. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, figure. And no more, it was one of thing. The next time, as far as I'm aware, the next time I'm gonna have a social contact in person will be in a month and a half. I have it scheduled and all.
This is true introvert behavior.
I am, believe it or not, I'm an extrovert. I'm just poor.
You know? I don't believe that.
You don't have to. Hey, I'm not forcing you.
Usually extroverts go outside.
Yeah, but I don't really have a place to go.
True.
Do I need to? No, it doesn't make sense because it's from the example. Also, whenever... I don't know if it's showing on stream, but whenever I alt-tab, Windows has this thing where all the windows hide, and you just see the background. But my background is the shirtless me rendition of All Matter, so... Everyone watching, you need to kind of get used to that, because I'm not changing that background. That is easily in my top 5 favorite All Matter drawings. Comment this out. Let's see now. BANiT. Print admin commands activated. BANiT admin. It does allow me to do is online just by pinging BANiT. Does it? See, this is just printing the message here. I'm losing my mind. I'm going in circles. If it keeps going like it's going, I'm just gonna move on to work on the video. Because this is not going well. Welcome back, Timon. Let's do some troubleshooting. Haha, I'm gonna have fun. Okay. MSFW channel required. Has permissions also interesting. Has guild permissions. Ooh, guild only could also be I'm getting distracted. This doesn't work, make it. You can't add additional functionalities to something that doesn't work in the first place. It first needs to function.
I mean, yeah, you can. Who's gonna stop you?
Basic logic.
Isn't that what's broken?
That's when I'm not applying correctly.
Exactly. Don't use basic logic. Don't use intermediate or advanced logic either. Just make it all up.
I could. Come on.
The phrasing was intentional.
It's a slash command group. Wait, that doesn't make any sense either. Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense either, because then it should... Huh. We're looking for the group. What now? Greetings, hello and bye. I think they added the wrong screenshot, because this is muff. Huh, I do think... Let me try adding them manually. Maybe that's an idea. Also, let's remove this line, because this feels iffy. Can you run? You can run. Do you have the commands? You do not. Your only command is this. Yeah, exactly. What if we do... What if we go into the cog, and on the init we... Or rather right here, we add application command.
Hi.
And then, hi, how you doing? Ah, shit. There is no great way to... Oh no, wait, there is. We can just do admin. Yes, which means admin. No, wait, we can't. Oh my lord, this is a pain in the ass. Because we need to do it inside the init. That's really annoying. We need this inside the initializer, but it doesn't exist before the initializer. We need like, or maybe just self bot, add application command, and then admin, and then database. If this works, then I refuse to believe it could. It doesn't. Would you look at that? Self is not defined. No, you guys don't think it's self, that's right. Just bot. Because self assumed. Bot is not defined. I'm going to punch your head in. I don't know how yet, but I'll find a way. I'm gonna build your head, just so that I can punch it in. These are slash command groups. So Macaroni, how you doing? Well, cogs tend to do that, yeah. I don't have much experience with cogs, unfortunately.
That is a great question, actually.
I imagine that means you're not going to answer.
Yes, precisely.
Okay. Fair.
I mean, personally, I prefer racks to cogs, but that's just my opinion.
That's nice.
I mean, when have I actually answered that question, though?
Also fair. This is tricky. I am an idiot, I think. Hold on.
You think?
Yeah, because does the initializer get executed after or before the thing? Also, what I could actually do is I can't like this. I can't let this self, can I? What if, just hear me on this. What if we do def add up commands like so with self. Hi there, Adrian. How you doing? And then we do self bot. Right, you also want the bot. Well, we have bot and self already. Ah, whatever. Who cares? Bot add application command. And then I'm presetting self admin. I think it's self admin and self database. Okay, at least you don't die. So that's something. Because then we can try load extension and also do cog dot add application commands with the bot given. String object has no attribute, add application command. Right, that makes sense. Oh no. Fuck. Shit. It's fine. It's fine. inside the bot there certainly have to be. Show me your cog. Picord bot cog. Where are the cogs stored? I wanna know where the cogs are.
Cogs are stored in the balls.
No, that's not a struggle exists.
Oh,
The cog rules. I'm not interested in the cog rules. I'm interested in where they are. Add cog call or remove cog.
Sounds painful.
Adding or removing? Honestly, kind of both.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be fine with one, but
I would say that it's only fine if it goes in pairs, I think. The new All Matter art is just cracking me up so much. I'm glad that you're doing good, Adrian. Glad to hear. How's it going with Adrian, by the way? Ash, sorry. You both have A names. It's the same as Remco Roblox. How's it going with Ash? Has he been managing to not bury you with his mathematicness? Oh, that would make sense. One of the paper to get, I think I almost understand everything. That's really good because, once again, I cannot stress enough how that paper is basically prelude to quantum computing, which would put you years ahead of what you need to study. So that's really nice. Can you do this? Oh yeah, right. Because I'm doing this, which is wrong. Called the comic large spoon.
what kind of vehicle you think that is? Because it ain't a forklift.
What? Oh, it's a spoon lift, of course.
Yeah. Everyone says they're forklift certified, but are you spoon lift certified?
True.
They
What
Didn't
of a
think
knife
so.
lift?
On the weekly we call again to collaborate questions I have right now, and we will also check my animation will be correct doing horror crimes against inflation. Would you like me to be there actually? Because I can function as a bridge. I can, know what's visualizable and know what's mathematically accurate. I actually think I should be though. Is the best correct?
And what about spork lift certification?
You have time? Yes. All right. I'll try to make time. It should be fine.
And do you need different certification for spork lifts and foon lifts?
So both sync commands. Wait, load extension should happen on runtime? What? You're pulling my cog. There's no way.
What?
There's no way it should be happening on runtime. I refuse to believe that. Oh my lord, it worked! Oh, the cog functions! Oh, BANiT was experiencing quite severe cognitive dysfunction. But it's fixed now. My goodness, you're supposed to load them on runtime. That is wacky. That is really wacky. Can this work now? Because that would be really funny. Like if I do BANiT. There are a lot of puns with cogs, I will be honest with you, Timon. It works, okay. Oh, yes. Oh, great. We have managed to achieve nothing. So far, BANiT can do nothing. That's where we are. But nothing is a start. Because before, it couldn't do nothing. So it's progress. No, it's progress. Where's the...
It's Congress? What?
I keep getting lost in the other server now because it looks identical. Then in English class we had again 3 lessons of just writing voca flashcards, and because we were in a group it was horrible. I mean, the words the others didn't know and needed cards for were outrageous.
Feels legit.
I sometimes forget that English is still like a thing that not actually common. Well, it is a common thing, but not actually everyone knowing so deal. Cards for the challenge at least to challenge in chat. Okay, that's pretty funny.
That is outrageous.
Hi, the Theo. Achievers of nothing. Yeah, hey, it's, you know, it's a step at a time, right? Okay, we don't need this anymore. We will keep this.
The fact that English is a Germanic language with French grammar and bigger words from French is a fact that people forget or just don't know, apparently.
There's one thing that mainly bothers me about English. There is no saying for
Having
when,
to speak it?
There is no saying for when you're about to eat something and you want to wish others a pleasant meal. You don't have that.
Enjoy your meal.
No, no. The most common thing is you say it in French. You say bon appetit. You have no idea how common of a saying that is. And English,
I know it's...
English just doesn't have that. Have a nice meal. No, have a nice meal is a weird thing. No one says have a nice meal before eating.
That's why I said enjoy your meal.
No, enjoy your meal is also not a thing. Enjoy your meal sounds weird. Enjoy your meal sounds like as if you've
well,
poisoned.
bon appetit sounds
honestly,
French, so...
Honestly, specifically in your case, Black Thunder, enjoy your meal is what I would expect you to say if you've put fiberglass in my soup.
Don't worry, I wouldn't put fiberglass in your soup.
Not in the soup.
You'd notice that pretty quick. I know better.
Just tasting of it. I know this taste.
This is weirdly gritty. What'd you put in here?
Hold on, I know what this tastes like.
I know what drywall tastes like, and that ain't it.
Real or fake?
Right. Cogs in the soup. Is that the boys reference?
I might need to replace one of the rings on my keychain.
The voice finds sex, Cogs, but I still watch it. What do you mean? It's a great show. Like, have you seen Free Body Problem? The show? The movie? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I have not seen it. I've heard people reference it, but I don't still know if it's a movie or a show.
I heard that the book is better.
Or a
The
book.
Boys? It's a TV show.
No, the Free Body Problem.
Oh,
The Boys I know. You have to, it's incredible. If he's incredible, why can I still see him?
Oh my god.
Right, just
you're
let's get back to
experiencing
BANiT.
cognitive decline.
Thank you. Maybe starting with admin is not the way to go. Or maybe it is the way to go. What would we like to start with? Maybe giving people admin. Or maybe... I don't know. Right, the first database will exist. Oh, reaction roles. That's a good one. My goodness,
Hi,
that's a
Remco.
good one. Whomst? Remco, hi. I had a thought today,
Maybe.
which...
Oh god.
Yeah, that's a proper
Not
reaction.
back at that again. Last time that happened, it went boom.
I had a thought, but I don't know how idiotic it is. If you have, if you have a field covering the entire universe, right? Then can you not model it as so? If we imagine a field that just a simple scalar field covering the entire universe, can you not model it as a 5-dimensional universe right away with 3 spatial dimensions, 1 temporal and 1 field dimension? Because each point has its own value. That's half the thought, by the way. That's the first half.
Okay, the answer is no.
Why? Hide the theft up.
But
Turf though.
because the field, the degree of freedom of the field is not a real dimension.
What does that mean?
However, it's a degree of freedom within the other dimensions. It's not something external to that. So it could never be promoted to something of an external dimension.
Ah, I see.
But continue your thought, because you're onto something.
No, that's a shame. Because then my next question would have been, what happens if we rotate between the dimensions then?
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's not
that's the problem.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now there is something along these lines of thoughts that is actually a physical theory. When you're considering a 4-dimensional spacetime and manifolds, let's just consider Minkowski for now, and we consider electromagnetism on this manifold, it is highly beneficial to consider it as a 5-dimensional manifold, because all the structure that arises from electromagnetism simplify extremely. I guess in some way you are actually putting these degrees of freedom into an extra dimension-ish. I haven't seen the whole construction yet, but it could be something that follows your train of thought.
That's a maybe. That's really interesting. I still haven't gotten enough in the book to get there, but it's just a thought I got from the original chapters.
That is not going to be in the book.
Yeah, no, I know it's not. I just got the idea because of the rotating into the time dimension. What a wild thing to say as well.
I guess it doesn't work in case of the scalar field because your metric induces the topology of your manifold, or the other way around, if you'd like.
That makes sense.
In this case, your scalar field usually is constricted to some kind of equation of motion. Like you need to describe how it moves in the space. So I don't think you can use a scalar field to do the extra dimension. But when you have a vector field, it is actually doable. And in this case, I'm looking it up right now. It's called the Kaluza-Klein theory. Kaluza-Klein. I don't know who Kaluza is, but good on him. But in this case, you need a scalar field and a vector field, and then you can promote it to an like you upgrade the metric, you add another term to the metric, and based on that, based on the Einstein equations, you get your equation of motions on these vector potentials. You get like electromagnetism out of it, signifying that something is going right.
Huh. That's really nice. I like that a lot. I like that a lot because it adds degrees of freedom in a very nice way.
Yes.
Also,
Effectively, all you're doing is just solving the metric, and in the metric you have electromagnetism. Like you don't need to add electromagnetism to your dimension; you already have it from your spacetime. I guess in the same sense that gravity emerges as your perturbation on these metrics.
also another thing, I have finished the classes example in the. I'll need to add another thing today, and I plan to just go simple and do try except. But I added another example to the Python lessons repo, and I think you just might resonate with this one because it basically I created a class for a particle, a class for a field, and then I finished off by like allowing you to, and particles obviously modeled as just perturbations in the field. Except this is kind of going backwards because you enumerate the particles and then you create the perturbations from them, so it is backwards from how it should be. But still, it finishes off by like plotting the field in just different places. And I will still ask Quasar to review this for me because Quasar just has the entirety of PEP memorized. But this is like, if at least in my opinion, it is a very, very cleanly well written thing to do it with classes this way.
I'll have a look because I will probably need to refresh my knowledge on class. I might just do the entire thing myself.
Classes are very confusing because they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, because they are basically everything. Everything in Python is a class. So Python.
That's how you learn stuff. You go to class.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You go.
No way.
You need to get Python classes.
Mm-hmm.
Python classes is something you learn from classes.
I have to refresh on that. But
You have to
I
get
can do that.
oriented to class objects.
Basis vectors.
Oh no, not the OOBs.
Oh,
I hate the
recently we
OOBs.
also had the conversation, but unfortunately it fell a bit short because it was an open set. If only I managed to find a way to create a string in JavaScript, like a console log a string using only numbers and addition, then I could prove that JavaScript actually doesn't have addition. Because if that was the case, then that means all the numbers in JavaScript wouldn't be part of a field, they would be part of a magma, which doesn't have addition, which I find hilarious because it's non-associative. And you need to go...
I mean, like... Okay.
like, you need to go that far back in order to lose associativity in an operation.
Give me like 2 sentences before I once again realized you were talking about strings in a computer science sense.
Yeah.
Next time, please give a disclaimer. Like when I hear and see string, it's gonna be an excitation in the string field, not a text.
I mean, text would be a better name for it, but they're called strings because nerd reasons.
Nerd reasons. Them nerds.
Yeah. Calling it utility is a bad idea. Let's call it
Aren't strings arrays?
Are they?
They
I mean,
are.
could be.
I think they are.
They are.
Technically, they're arrays.
In almost every single programming language, they are.
Yeah.
but not always.
So this, I think of that as a string. They don't want to say array because that would be bad. So I think the reason why they call it string
it
is because
is
it's an array.
it is literally an array though. Like calling it an array,
Yeah.
From calling it an array should be perfectly fine, because if you go, it should be, unless at least when you're dealing with ASCII and stuff like that, it should be just a null terminated array. That's what the string should be. But then more abstract languages, etc.
That is exactly what keeps me up at night.
Yeah, I do imagine.
Probably
But
real
classes
life.
I thought were pretty simple. Aren't classes very simple in Python?
If you know them, then you know how to use them. But if you don't
Yeah.
know them, then it's really difficult to develop an intuition for them. Because class is effectively just everything. Class, like, the way I can
Yeah.
explain it best is the most complicated kind of data you can have is a dictionary. The most complicated kind of functionality is a function. And class is just both. Which is a problem, because
Yeah.
then someone could ask you a question, okay, but what's the difference between like the entirety of Python and classes? To which I say, yeah, there kind of isn't. It's kind of like the entirety of Python is kind of a class. Or it could
Yeah.
be even literally a class, but I don't want to make that claim because that's very absolutist. I'm not certain enough.
So it's just a layer of abstraction that could be useful if you have to redo code.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So you don't have to use classes at all. You can like never initiate a class in your code and it could still function normally.
yeah.
So there's no reason to have to use
Yeah,
it.
the same as you can just separate it off into different files. The same as you
Yeah.
can do all that stuff. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, if you separate it off in a different file and import it, it gets imported as a class. But like,
Yeah, it does.
yeah, exactly. Like it's everything. Basically, classes are just Python. That's what they are. But it's
Yeah.
really difficult. The same thing as like virtual environments are a really annoying thing to explain. Because in my repo, I had to get on that really soon. I had to introduce virtual environments really early because the entire thing is meant to be run in a virtual environment, because that way you can download dependencies easier. But it's really difficult to explain.
Yeah.
Like, oh, congrats, you just downloaded Python. Now you need to make a second Python just for this place.
Separate Python.
A tiny Python.
But it's like a sandbox though.
It is.
That's what I think of in envelopes. Venvelopes.
Envelopes. The
Or
Venveloper.
Venveloper.
But classes are. I thought a class is just a kind of like an object that you need to run the same code on. So the examples that make it easy is just like a person class. When the person can have a name and whatever.
Yeah,
But if you want to redo it,
I would
Yeah.
say that actually, I don't think that everything you can write without classes, everything you can write with classes, you can write without, because you can create instances of classes in loops, and I'm not certain if, I mean, maybe with functional programming actually that could be done, but I'm not certain how Python is handling the business that's going on inside classes then. Because
yeah, there are certain things that might be way harder to do.
I mean, you might
if
be
you
right.
don't use
I
class.
think you're right. I think it can actually be. For a second, I wasn't certain, but then I remember that functional programming does exist, so you can just have an array of functions.
It would add a lot of code.
That it would certainly. I still remember my single line of code to generate the periodic table electron configuration. The single
Oh my
line
God.
of code, which was, what was it, 14 kilobytes? You know,
I just remember watching you code that, and then it was like 2 hours later, I'm like, why are you so dead set on having a single line?
what's funny is that
Because it was like a giant paragraph. I'm like,
On the
why are you
beginning.
making this so tough for yourself?
on the beginning, it was just, I genuinely thought it would just be an easy project. I genuinely thought it would be like, oh yeah, just, there is like a very algorithmic approach to the periodic table electron configuration, so it has to be really easy. But then solid 2 hours, because also I did it on 2 streams. I don't know if I do very specifically remember not finishing it up on a single stream. So it just,
I was there for the first stream.
yeah, exactly. It went on so much longer. I kind of remember leaving it somewhere on GitHub.
So you wrote a whole program in one line, I'm pretty sure you can write things without classes.
I'm pretty certain Python is still Turing complete in a single line if done properly enough.
Yeah.
Bec- what? Huh?
But classes are really nice for files. Like, I didn't use a class in Python for the first 4 years I wrote in it.
They
And then I needed it. And then once I realized how cool it is, because you can like instantiate the object, the class. So when you spool up a new class, you can have it automatically do some code. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. You know, it's so helpful.
did I not save them on GitHub, or did I not save in the public repo? I need to log in to my GitHub to see. Maybe it's in the private.
Because you're doing the orbitals of the periodic table of elements.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're algorithmic, and the algorithm for it is simple if you're doing it normally.
Yeah, 17 kilobytes simple.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very simple.
That could be less.
So 1 byte is 1 character. That should be mentioned, just for reference, in case anyone would like to know what
17,000 characters.
17
A simple algorithm.
17.
In one line.
Yeah. It also took absolute ages to run because there was so much redundancy there. Because I couldn't optimize anything. It was in one line. You know, in normal Python
That's how
you have
stubborn
the
you are.
yeah in normal Python you have the benefits of using the keyword continue or pass, which you can't redo it inline, as far as I'm aware. There we go, 2-factor authentication. Beautiful.
Yeah, can you do a try except in one line?
Oh, that you definitely cannot. I have 30. I have so many more repositories. When you look at the particle visual.
Oh, make it. I did a project that you might like.
What have you done?
I put a Raspberry Pi 5 with AI in a harness inside of a box, and I gave it a camera and like a software-defined radio and told it to do science.
You built the science
That's all it's
machine
doing,
from
so literally-
Factorio. You build
Yeah.
You build the science machine from Factorio to which you just give science and it does science.
Yeah. It literally right now it's doing science.
That's pretty hilarious.
I mean, it's not really good yet, but it literally is.
I'm obsessed. I'm looking. I mean, I'm glad it is. I'm honestly curious to see the results. Oh, we lost
Okay.
some people.
Remco.
And Macaroni, they couldn't take it anymore. What is it sciencing? We'll find out, I suppose. Hi, the Lycan. Hi. How is it making? I'm on a wild tangent to find a single line of code I wrote a while back.
So I'm sharing my screen if you want to see it.
Hold on. Can I share it on stream?
Yeah.
Let me pop out then. There we go.
So essentially, this is what the camera sees,
Your science
and
machine.
it's a science machine, the Raspberry Pi in the corner, and it's a AI harness. It needed some help, and it has a couple of experiments, setting up a baseline, and it's spent 31 cents so far, and it's just a running. I'll make it even cooler, but right now it's just But yeah, 30 cents ain't bad for running for a whole day.
I have a science machine.
Science in a box.
It is pretty funny to have the factorial, because I've always taken a crack at it for that. Like, that's not how it works. I'm glad you made it work that way. Okay, so apparently
I was thinking of you when I did it, so I was like, this would be hilarious for a stream.
I'm sorry for like you know, not
Did you
paying
find it?
proper attention, but I am still on the same, like, I am 2 computers ahead of when I was when I wrote that line, but I just moved my C drive from each to the next, so I'm pretty certain I still have it.
Did you find it?
I basic gen.py, no. Other parser. No, these have more than one line. Parse fast. Parse book thing. What? What is the? All of these have more than one line. No, this is it is 17 kilobytes. Oh dear lord.
So show more.
One9.py, this right here, and oh yeah, right, I forgot. It's not gonna color in anything because it just dies. Like the
Oh.
formatter just dies when it wants to display. Wasn't there like a button to collapse a single line into to make it look like multiple lines? I think because I would like this to see real world examples from GitHub. I don't think you're gonna find any real world examples to this. This is a single line of code which generates the election configuration of all the... Well, by the way, it's wrong as well. Palladium, for example, is wrong because obviously I'm using the algorithmic approach, which doesn't account for proper election configurations. But it is 17,000. See it, Ivan. This is 17,000 characters of code.
That's impressive. You should put it into an AI and say, troubleshoot this.
I've already had that. I've already done these tests, and it wasn't even
It
code like this.
explode?
With my normal C code, it explodes because the way I write code is that unreadable. It's because like I do things which are legal and are allowed, but no one ever would. So stuff like having my entire program. One thing which I really like is having my entire program just be a single for loop that I don't even use the loop part in. Because in a for loop, you have 3 sections. The first one which initializes a variable, which means it's run once. Second, which is the execution, second, which is the condition. The third is the execution. But in C, conditions and executions are the same thing, which means you effectively just have the initializer, then condition plus execution, and then execution. So the way I do my main starters in C is when I have a for loop, I use the first part in order for the things I want to run once, the second and third for the thing that I want to loop over, and right here I just differentiate the last thing I want to execute by giving it a return of 0. And that way you don't even need to use the loop. You can just use this setup of a loop. And no one does it. I've never seen anyone do it that way because it's pointless, unreadable, it does nothing. All it does, it makes your code more confusing and slightly slower by like picoseconds. But hey.
Security through obscurity.
Exactly. And everyone knows that security through obscurity is the best way to go.
Yep. That's how the pros do it.
Yeah, that's how it's done. You don't need any none of that private public key business. I always thought it was very silly.
Encryption? No. Obfuscation.
Exactly.
That's their term.
You need to obfuscate your code. That's the way you do it. It's so pointless. I got distracted again. I actually need to finish this. All right. Right, make it. Get to it. The problem is that I have BANiT right now running on the server, but it's running with the old code, which means that if I turn BANiT off and turn it back on, it's all of the functionalities are gonna be gone. So that's why this is actually kind of a priority, but I'm very much not treating it as such. If BANiT breaks right now, or if it has a glitch, I can't fix it. I'm remaking BANiT from scratch, so I should be treating this more seriously. Which is why we're gonna do this. Which is why we're gonna
I've been messing with CI/CD pipelines a lot.
CI/CD. What is
Yeah,
that?
continuous integration, continuous delivery. It's depending on where your server is hosting, GitHub allows you to do like actions. So I can test all my code, publish to a staging server. If the staging server works, push it to the main code. And it's set up in such a way that has the least amount of downtime for the server.
Oh, that's really clever.
Yeah. So I have like 5 apps at work that I have ongoing, plus about another 5 at home.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's awesome. So I'll have like some code that I need to adjust. People will be using my website. And then once I push the code, all the tests run and it will compile it and everything in GitHub. And so by the time it sends it to the server, it's passed all the tests and most likely works. It's super handy. And plus I have a staging server. It costs extra money, but that way I can at least test it out on the staging server to make sure it's not entirely broken.
Proper development setups are a huge time saver. So that's really smart.
Yeah. It's beautiful when it works. Like
When it
I went from
works.
yeah.
I really need to.
It broke once, and then because I changed the database schema, and so the database is a separate server. And I messed up the schema, which broke the site. And so undoing it is a lot more complicated. So if you screw things up, you can shoot yourself in the foot. But
Yeah.
it's
I very
it was
much dislike database in general, and if only I had a nickel for
Yeah.
every single time I messed everything up because I messed up the schema.
yeah. So
Flask has
there's that.
Flask has an integrated databases thing, and it has the upgrade for upgrading database and migrate for basically generating. I'm pretty certain generating a schema actually. The problem is that the migrate isn't very clever, I should say, and by that I mean it's really dumb, and it has a tendency to just break, create like. But the way it works is that you have a list of all the changes that ever happened to a database so that it can be very properly migrated without losing the data. And it sometimes creates branches without realizing it, which is horrendous because it's not even that you most of the time don't need a branch. You never need a branch. Never. There is no scenario in which you want a branch on your changes on the database because it's not meant to function like a GitHub repository. It's meant to function as a record of the changes so that the data can be migrated properly.
Yeah.
And when it creates branches, it just it can't fix itself. You need to go like into all the changes. You need to look through all the files, which are all just not encrypted. She's short for encryption. SHA-256, for example. Wasn't the word hashed? Yeah, maybe. Did I genuinely just forget hashed? Sure. Like all just hashed, so just a whole bunch of hexes. And is the file I'm looking for 37F892A30 byte and ... or is it and then another 30 couple characters? Just going through all of them, figuring out which one of them has the mistake that breaks the entire thing. It's not a game ender, but it is every single time just 10 minutes to go out of your way and go through all of this simply because you did migrate instead of upgrade. I dislike databases a lot. They're very useful, but it doesn't mean I have to like reusing them.
Yeah. I still was super excited that I was able to convert a database into byte objects and then use the graphics engine of the web browser to actually make smooth animations and still have a connected database. So that way, when you click on an object, you can see the data.
Oh, that's really nice.
And so it was so beautiful because I'm getting 60 frames a second with an animation with over 615,000 data points. So it's like, and I compress technically I think it's a 1.3 gigabyte file into 7 megabytes. It's like that is crazy awesome.
That is insane.
I still think it'd be hilarious because encryption through irrational numbers or compression through irrational numbers, right? Because technically every data point should exist in an irrational number.
Yeah. It's just a matter
So-
that basically it's an exercise of pushing the data from the file into the compression mechanism. So if you think about it, then if you, for example, have a compression mechanism or recompression, because that's the difficult part, right? Like recompressing, then you could have a recompression mechanism that generates a picture of Mona Lisa, and then your input can just be one bit, either 0 or 1, like generate the picture or not. And that way you could say that you have compressed Mona Lisa into a single bit, but that does require the decompression mechanism to be the size of a picture of Mona Lisa regardless. But this should, like, if we had some kind of method of solving.
But irrational numbers, right? Because technically it has to have every sequence of numbers.
Yes.
So somewhere in pi, you actually have the Mona Lisa picture.
Yes.
It's just probably so far down, but if you knew its location, you could technically you'd have to.
If you could find it, then could it not work with actually something like? Wait, what about Library of Babel?
Yeah, it's exactly like that
reversible.
concept, but it should be, right?
No. I mean, Library of Babel is reversible. If I'm not mistaken, you can just like look up some kind of sentence and it will tell you where it is.
Yeah, it does.
Because,
but I think it would be funny because what you would be doing is you're replacing the information by computation. So you'd have to compute so many digits of pi to eventually get whatever book or piece of text. But the address of the location is still probably going to be greater than the actual size of the file, uncompressed.
That's a good question, actually. Would it be?
Well, it depends, because if you're trying to encode, the first 10 digits of pi, like the decimal places, that exists in pi. It's the first 10 decimal places.
Is essentially a Library of Babel. I mean, yeah, it is. It's I don't think it's not isomorphic, but there is like the scope of infinities, isn't it? Like when you have if you have something that's countably infinite, then every other thing that's countably infinite has like the same amount of information to store because it's countably infinite. So pi could be just a really great, but I'm genuinely.
But the definition of irrational means that it has to have all information encoded into it.
Yes.
So if you wanted a dictionary or a giant file, somewhere within pi it exists.
You don't need.
And the question is, would the address be so long?
Let's do some maths. Picture of a Mona Lisa. Picture of Mona Lisa.
I gotta do work.
I have to do work as well. You're distracting me too. Don't worry.
All right. Well, I really gotta do work. I gotta hop on a call.
All right.
Later.
See ya. I think I'm actually then might go as well. Because I want to finish this. It's just important. Actually, it's actually quite important that I finish this then I'll be just getting to work on some couple of videos. And for now, that'll be it. Thank you everyone so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.